morning, we have 58 cars sitting patiently, impatiently probably, in the pit lane and ready to take on this track in front of a bumper crowd. 350,000 is the maximum allowed capacity at Le Mans. Those tickets sold out in under 24 hours. If you're watching this online and think, I quite fancy going to Le Mans one day, you will, but you will have to be very, very quick trying to get those tickets. So here is the circuit, 13.6 kilometers, one of the most famous sporting venues on the planet, and for over 100 years, men and women have raced their cars here. Now, the first race was on whatever day it was, Thursday afternoon, and in the light of previous highly damaging Michelin Le Mans Cup races at Le Mans, it actually passed remarkably smoothly. Pole position was held by RA's GP, but that didn't last too long. Hugo Schwarzer was under pressure from the second and third starting cars, the green and black machines, early on from Forestier Racing by VPS. Louis Rousset in third position, tailing his teammate. And for a while, it looked as though Hugo Schwarzer might well have the race under control. But he never quite managed to escape the pursuing pack. And as a result, Graham Goodwin, we had a big battle for the lead, at least until that error. Carrying a little bit too much speed in and running out wide, giving away the lead.
He did indeed, and at this stage it did look, didn't it, as if the two Forestier Racing by VPS cars would dominate proceedings. It wouldn't turn out that way.
There's a shot we didn't see in the live from the drone. There was an interruption in the race after contact. Just a brief safety car period, just for a single lap.
That's the Nielsen Racing Ades out at Indianapolis.
Fortunately, though, no damage done, and that was actually long before. Oh, and there's this little spin at the restart, forgotten that. That was fortunately before the pit window opened at the end of the race for one of the Interpol cars down at Indianapolis. Remarkably, the 88 car survived that heart in the mouth moment without major damage. Into the pits then for the mandatory stop, and this is where it all went wrong for Forestier Racing. What seemed like a good call initially, which was to come in behind everybody else, their pit work wasn't quite as quick as it should have been, and they dropped down the order, which left RA's GP battling with CLK Pure Motorsport for the lead.
CLX dominating in the front, LMS crew taking the lead from the RHGP 85, latter stage of the race.
And in GT3, the long lead of McLaren disappeared in the closing stages, with Anthony Bartone, a day before his birthday, taking victory in Mercedes. But it was Adrian Clomenil and Theodor Jensen who led their teammate David Drew across the line. Drew, though, with a pit stop penalty, being dropped down to the bottom of the top 10. So it was a highly entertaining race with very little damage and just one brief interruption. We'll be hoping for much the same. Now, you can see, if you were watching the action on Thursday, it was meltingly hot. This morning, it is a little cooler. In fact, it's 14 degrees cooler in terms of air temperature, and probably nearly 25 degrees cooler in terms of track temperature. It was absolutely melting on Thursday. We've had a couple of storms overnight, or late yesterday afternoon, in fact, supper time. They were fairly localised, though. 10 kilometres away, there was little sign of it. And don't think there was too much, even in the town centre, but it will have changed the track. Now, our grid set during practice, qualifying was interrupted, does have the two Tim Virage cars on the front row, and that's a great opportunity. Louis Rousset for Forestier Racing lining up third ahead of 23 events. CLX with their two cars on row 3 of the grid, watch out for them. Good practice for M Racing. Didn't really feature in the race, but Quentin Antonel might have a word here. Breton Racing started in 4th place yesterday. Didn't get a great getaway, dropped down to about 8th or 9th. But the Gephardt Motorsport car did progress well. Our points leaders after yesterday's race are starting last in this class, 23rd on the grid. Race 1 winners, Adrian Clomanil and his teammates starting in 6th place. So yesterday's order, not just on the grid, but in the race, very much jumbled up today. Again, with no qualifying 1 and no qualifying 2 result because of incidents and accidents. Everything comes down to what you did in practice.
Good to see Arthur Rogion. They're in 16th place on the grid for CD Sports after a nasty injury at Paul Ricard, recovering well enough to be back for this blue ribbon event for the Michelin Le Mans Cup. Remember, these are point scoring races for the Michelin Le Mans Cup, the 2 1-hour races here this weekend.
Ooh, 87 coming into the pit lane. Or is that 97? 97. Oh, it was 87. My eyes deceived me.
No, that's wrong. That is 97.
And a little lock-up there. So that's Cedric Ultramar, who should be starting in 5th position. Now, you can't get your mandatory pit stop out of the way on the formation lap, so that is a major issue, and the cars have only just come out of the support pit lane.
Team manager to race control immediately as well, so something's gone wrong there.
Well, pit lane is closed for a start.
So, OK, we'll keep an eye on that one. That's one of the potential major players already in trouble then.
Yep.
But just to reiterate, it is a point-scoring round, but we do have a lot of guest entries. The winning car from Thursday's race, not a point-scoring entry. They're effectively invisible for points. We'll get to points in the Michelin Le Mans Cup towards the end of this encounter. It's absolutely, Martin, the race that lots of these teams and drivers look forward to. It's one of the biggest stages in the world.
100%. I mean, what an opportunity in what is a learning category, a feeder series, to come and race not once but twice at Le Mans. Even in the big race, you don't get 2 races.
That is Julien Germy. He's the team principal of Team Virage. That's a team that has just shown amazing form in LMP3 and in the trouble for the 64 car.
Dear, here
what's happened there?
Here we go.
That's just coming out of the holding area.
Yeah.
Oh dear, that's not going to be part of his highlights reel for the weekend.
I'm afraid it rather is. Very cold tyres, though.
That is M Racing's Michael Doppelmayr. That's the car that is due to be shared later by Pierre Caffer. So I'm afraid Pierre Doppelmayr is going to get it going back out, trying to get the reverse.
Yeah, but look how it's dug into what is now a very soft outfield. In fact, you can see the rain has affected the paint scheme overnight. I'll remove my tongue from my cheek. Now that's very, very unfortunate. That's in one of the Pro-Am cars, which you got the purple backing. So
Michael Doppelmayr's got the car going, but he's dropped back now into the GT3 runners.
Now he
but he also not all over the wheels, unfortunately.
Well, he was due to be 42nd on the grid, so 19th in Pro-Am, and a spinner at the chicane as well.
And that's the Biogas Motorsports, the Spanish crewed Ferrari 296 GT3.
This does not augur well. That's Josep Mayola Comedera. So looking at our field as we continue to run down the grid.
Yeah, despite the fact we've been dealing with those incidents, we're still running through what is an extraordinarily deep grid. The more motorsport car there in 31st. Max and Mark van der Snel.
These are all the LMP3 Pro-Am teams, so same cars, but with a different driver lineup, with a mandatory bronze graded driver in the field.
And if you're joining us for the first time this weekend for the Michelin Le Mans Cup Road to Le Mans, just to remind you, for the first time, a 3-class spread with those LMP3 Pro-Ams. It's 23 cars in LMP3. It is a further, 18 cars in LMP3 Pro-Am.
20
cars in LMP3 Pro-Am. a team that must have a bronze driver, effectively LMP3 as was from last year, and then it's the GT3 cars, the production-based cars at the back. And if you're standing trackside and wondering why this feels different and sounds different, it's because all of the LMP3 cars in this field are to brand new 2025 specification. The low revving, rumbly Nissans of old are gone. We're now into turbo Toyota era. All these cars, whether it be with the numerically predominant Ligiers, they're the cars with the concave nose sections. You can see there. Trouble for the 59 as well. This is not going well for anybody's teams. This is the Racing Spirit Le Mans.
That's Anthony McIntosh.
What's happened there? There's the Biogas Motorsport car.
Yeah.
That was just simply cold tyres.
So is that the first chicane?
It was at the exit, the fourth chicane on the outlap. And still attention being paid to the 97 car.
I was wondering where the Aston had come to a halt.
Train of cars coming down to Mulsanne Corner on this formation lap. To complete the point about what you're seeing out there, is all the cars have got the same powertrain, the Toyota Turbo V6 with the X-Track gearbox, 4 different chassis, and for the first time this year, all 4 available chassis are in this race. Ligiers, so the concave nose. Bottom of shot there with the powder blue, orange and white livery, one of 2 Decar engineering Ginettas. The needle nose cars, you'll see the black and grey car with the yellow highlights just emerging from behind that bush. That's one of the Duquesnes, and the rather squarer stance to the 2 Ades cars, which are being campaigned here by Nielsen Racing, previous winners in the Road to Le Mans.
Yeah. So great views of the fans around the circuits. Saw some young fan tucking themselves back under a blanket. No, don't want to hear this. Too tired. Mummy and Daddy have dragged me out of bed far too early this morning after what was probably not a very sleep-filled night on the campsites. Campsites were rocking. Now then, the 97 car is at pit exit and will have to rejoin. Will have to join in at the end of the field. So a nose changed on the 97 car. Now, why they needed to change a nose between it leaving the holding area and getting to the entrance to pit, I mean, that's 300 meters. So, and that's very strange. However, that has properly torpedoed the chances of the car that is second in the points after yesterday. Points leader, however, starts last in that class, but it'll be 45 cars ahead of them.
Exiting Marshall's Post 30, 2x2. No more waving, so leave the crowd alone.
That'll be weaving. There's always a typo or two in the race control screen during the course of the day.
They've got quite a heavy workload. The other difference we should make clear is the crowds come pouring in to the Circuit de la Sarthe this morning, and they are very welcome indeed. Is that this race is 5 minutes longer than we've been used to of late. It's going to be a full 1 hour. That's what's planned.
Final car on the grid, Christoph Ulrich in the number 55 AF Corsa Ferrari, but he will not be the last car into the Dunlop chicane because Cedric Alchemar will have to follow once the field has gone by.
Yeah, it's a nice mixed bag of GT3 cars.
Yesterday's pole sitter, that blue 51 Ferrari, and that car starting sort of midway down the grid, not midway down the grid at all. Alessandro Cozzi is starting third last.
They were yesterday's winners as well, weren't they?
No, they finished second yesterday. In the end, it was Anthony Bartone in the Mercedes that won race 1.
Of course it was.
And then third in race 1 was the Racing Spirit Le Mans Aston that we saw stopped.
We wondered what the problem was, by the way, for the Optimum McLaren in that race on Thursday. That was because he'd been told there was quite a major time penalty. He realised race over, ducked out the fight, let people get on with it.
Right.
Well, good, very good discipline from him.
Yeah, good thinking by the team as well. With a bit of Also Sprach Zarathustra, we are about to let unleash the dogs of war. This could be, if the formation lap is anything to go by, a little bit fraught. An hour of racing, race 2 of Road to Le Mans. No overtaking before the line, drop back in, you're supposed to go through the grid spots. There could be quite a few start line penalties there, 5 wide at the back.
Oh, and there was contact between the Forestier racing car and the second of the Virage cars.
That's Sebastian Graveland, I think, in the barriers, and the Forestier racing car, Louis Rousset, and Graveland has got the car turned around.
But that sent several cars off into and through the gravel to the outside.
The Forestier car with the lead for the moment. That's Louis Rousset, 23 events, that's the red and white. Lena Bühler.
Yeah,
and then Sasha Lehmann in third from pole with Kanta Antonell, the pinky red M Racing car, in fourth place.
Yeah, 2 cars that were in trouble on Thursday, the 50 and the 68, looking to make amends today. Lena Bühler making hay while the sun's not shining yet, but it certainly is on her race, makes her way towards the front, and it is a safety car.
Yeah, Kelsey Breeze. Here's our GT3 field. Anton McIntosh did not start the race for Racing Spirit of Le Mans.
And there's trouble there for the 21 car, has been involved in that.
Yeah, 21 is another of the AF
Gino
Corsa
Forgioni's car.
Yes, it is.
And the biogas car with its second problem. So that, I think, is a knock-on effect of the argy-bargy at the front of the field. Oh. Yeah. Not very happy, I think, is the international sign language there.
Yes, I'm sensing he feels that may not have been entirely his fault. So biogas and 21 AF Corsa car out of the race. So too the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin that finished third yesterday. They have not even started. I have to say, the stewards will look very closely at what happened up to the Dunlop chicane, and I'm not sure that Forestier Racing by VPS's Louis Rousset is going to get away with that scot-free.
Yeah, that was pretty vigorous, wasn't it? Let's talk at the moment, though, Martin, as they come round at reduced speed under safety car conditions. Car 21 under investigation. Behaviour.
Yeah. It was not a moment of which he'll be particularly proud, I think, but as you can understand, racing at Le Mans and getting tagged out in the first corner is not going to leave you feeling very happy.
Well, it's Louis Rousset that leads the way at the moment as the formation Manitus gets into action.
Yeah, the team here at Le Mans, highly experienced. Of course, this is a pinch point. It is a very obvious damage area.
Yeah, quite serious damage to the front left wheel of the 23 car. We're not seeing where the damage is on the 21 from this angle.
To be honest, it might even just have been spun around. So let's take a look again. Our front row starters on the right of your picture, Sasha Lehmann. On the left, Sebastian Graveland. And watch the green car. Cuts back. No idea at all where the second team Virage car was in his periphery.
How did nobody hit that? How did nobody hit that car?
Well, yeah.
I think somebody possibly cast a shadow over.
Now, further back, there's a lime green car that's on the outside who spins through the gravel, comes back in through the field across the Dunlop chicane. That camera's not going to show it. Yes, it is.
Second Forestier car.
And he spins backwards through the field. Any moment now, he's
coming.
Oh, there he is.
No, it's the 43 car.
Yeah. It's the Inter-Europol car. And again, he spun through the gravel, backwards across the chicane. He released the brake in the gravel, sensibly.
That's David Pun, and no pun intended, he's rejoined in 38th place.
73
also,
Porsche of Patrick Dinkelden.
There's another one, yes, well, spinning backwards and rejoining. The 73 car again has continued. So all sorts of dramas. About to say, Martin, the spun out Virage car, I swear that the front of the car that just missed him must have cast a shadow on his front splitter. It was a remarkably close shave.
Ran over his toes, I think. Now, what happened further back? There's contact. Yeah,
just
the biogas car just
collected him.
But the problem is, everybody is checking up there. Everybody is checking up because of the spinning Porsche. And he spun because he's checking up because the cars in front are slowing down dramatically because of the LMP3 cars.
It's not giving Gino Forgione any credit at all for the behaviour at the end there, but he will feel he checked up and the car behind did not.
Yeah, the problem is he probably jumped on the brakes at a point where you're normally releasing them and the car behind had nowhere to go, and that is what happens. It's the concertina effect. You see it on public roads, you see it on racing tracks, is that if there's an incident, you're unsighted, you're on full throttle, expecting to get onto the brakes at a certain point, but the car in front and the car in front of him and the car in front of him are all braking earlier, and eventually somebody runs into somebody. Well, good morning. Bonjour tout le monde. Herzlich willkommen, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the road to Le Mans.
One of the things I love about coming to Le Mans is the mix of nationalities. It is a universal Le Mans. It draws crowds from everywhere.
Well, the wonderful things about this event, there is damage to that 73 car. I can see some of the floor flapping away there. I think that car will be lucky if it stays out of the pits. The 73, it's that black and gold car there. And just noting right at the back of the field is Sebastian Graveland. He's rejoined in 55th place. That can be quite the push back through this field when we go back to green flag racing.
Again, Sergio Kolchmar, who started from the pit lane, is ahead of all but one of the LMGT3 cars in a third of a racing lap. So that CLX Motorsport car number 97, I mean, how he made it through the GT3 cars and their carnage at the first corner is another story. Our GT3 leader is just going through shot there, the red and black Mercedes. That's the car of Heiko Neumann, run by Motorpark from their factory in Oschersleben in Germany. And there is the last running car, Sebastian Graveland.
So that's the car that was collected in that rush that triggered all the carnage, not at Arnage, but to Dunlop.
All of the everything. Our current leader, and I say that advisedly, Louis Rousset from Le Nebula, car number 23, and then car number 50 rather, and then Quentin Antonel for M Racing.
Yeah.
M Racing, French team run by Justine Monnier, who is the partner of Ivan Muller.
Yeah. Always good to see Ivan, always at the race meetings, of course. But this, by the way, is the car, the pink car, is a car that features in the European Le Mans Series this year. One of a number of cars accepting guest entries there.
And
to the top.
Everybody, thankfully, being very cautious as the men and women in orange try and put the gravel back in the trap.
So the top 6 cars at the moment, all Ligier chassis. Then the first Duquesne is Griffin Peebles. Watch this young man in the number 12 WTM by Rinaldi racing car that had a problem yesterday. We didn't get to see Griffin yesterday. First of the Ades, Tom Fleming, very talented young racer for the United Kingdom, in 13th place for Nielsen Racing. And then the first Ginettas is the number 3 DKR car in 17th place. That's Freddie Tomlinson, son of 2006 GT2 race winner in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, Lawrence Tomlinson, and the owner of Ginetta cars. And by the way, the second Ginetta is leading Pro-Am. Antti Ramo, the number 2 car, ahead of Eric Dodonka. There's one Lonely Marshal, and there were 2 Lonely Marshals rather, in the middle of that gravel trap, trying to make sense of, I'm sure, some pretty deep ruts where several cars ran through forwards and backwards. Into the pits, though, comes that number 8 car that suffered the incident at turn 1. I wonder if this is just for tyres, or is there further damage? No, it's the legality panel at the rear of the car. that's quite often not an easy fix either.
And he is, you can see it's held on, or the bodywork is tensioned by a cable. That'll have been dragging along. He'll have just heard some awful noises at the back. What's he got to lose? Absolutely nothing.
Well,
He's stone last at the moment, so might as well come in and get it fixed.
It is damage that they will in any way be called in to attend to, so they've presumably decided to do that under the safety car. Interestingly,
I'm not entirely sure the team will have been able to see it because we didn't spot it.
But just seen one of the Ades run through the bottom of the screen, and there, the Ginetta, the orange, white, blue car, both of those new cars for 2025 have solutions which allow the teams to make a quicker repair of that specific part of the car. But in the case of the Ades, there's a bit of a weight, but they've got a rear clip, the same that LMP2 car was, but there is a bit of a weight penalty attached to that. Sadly, that's taken us the first 10 minutes of this allocation for this race.
Yep. Yesterday we had 1 lap behind the safety car, still got all 14 laps in. Within a minute or so of running out of time, the checkered flag came out. Yep. And our first race was won by CLX Motorsport, car number 37.
You can still see how much gravel is on the racing surface. It's good to see the marshal there supervising, making sure that there's that broomage is actually put into place. Good morning trackside here at the Circuit de la Sarthe. What a festival of motorsport we've had so far. At the moment,
and we haven't even got to the big one yet.
No, we haven't at the moment. Let's treat this one of your trackside as a parade of LMP3 and GT3 loveliness before we get back into racing. But all sorts of action on and off track here. The news cycle here this week has been extraordinary. Right now, in fact, 20 minutes ago, the very first people in the world to see the first iteration of the forthcoming McLaren hypercar being revealed right here, right now. Ford with big announcements, Genesis, Hyundai's Halo brand with big announcements, all sorts of announcements from the ACO about the future of this great race, the WEC, and more besides. The new LMP2 regulations being unveiled, or rather the shape of the new LMP2 cars being unveiled. And still, beyond all of that, to come trackside here, if you can get the ticket, still one of the greatest bargains in world motorsport.
Look at this. Just look at this. This is 20 past 10 in the morning, Central European summertime. It's going to be a long, hot race by all accounts. Not quite as hot as the build-up days. The forecast, it should be into the high 20s rather than into the mid and upper 30s. Yes. But it is forecast to remain dry. Of course, in the familiar words of the Audi film, it always rains at Le Mans. It almost always does rain at Le Mans, and almost always you get a bit of a sprinkle somewhere or other. But Truth in 24 might be called out this season. We might have an entirely dry race. That's certainly what Meteo France are suggesting.
Yeah, we had a huge storm yesterday evening. Swept through here. May or may not have cost us the firework display yesterday evening. I'm personally very grateful for that. It's next to our caravan. But we look to be getting to the stage where this is raceable once more. Number 8 car still on pit lane, refitting the engine cover to that car. Now, they should be able to get, if pit exit is open, and it may not be.
I think it should be.
But there's marshals on track. That's
the pit exit is open, we're hearing from Steph in the pit lane.
Yeah.
It should be, because that's the safety car rule, is that it only closes when the safety car gets to safety car line A, which is basically coming out the Ford chicane. So he's off and rolling. Now, a gaffer tape repair always looks okay stationary. However, at 150, 60, 70 miles an hour, the wind often argues with the gaffer tape. And he understandably is being very cautious with the Orange Army on track.
Well,
they were scampering away, but yeah, I think he had been very well advised by the team Keep your eyes open, because there will be marshals working. So take a look again at the start and watch the green and black car that's showing its nose on the inside. Looks to go outside of Sasha Lehmann, the leader, cuts back, nowhere at all for that number 8 car of Sebastian Graveland to go. I don't know who that was who ran over his toes, but it looks like they got away without any major dramas. And then the Forestier Racing by VPS car squeezing in front at the start, but
there's the 43 car backwards across the pack. Remarkable. Then the 73 car does much the same. But that was the point. The second element. Look at that, though. That was Gino Forgione being collected by the big ass Ferraris of Miola Commodora, and yeah, there were scenes after that where Gino Forgione was showing his displeasure at that moment. There's a reaction from some
Team
of the Team Virage crew.
Yeah, they're watching it live on the app, and yeah, doesn't make good viewing for the team.
Safety car is going to come in this lap. That is going to be the number 8 car. Is going to be way back, proceeding at speed, but he's only down at the second chicane on the Mulsanne at the moment, while here we are coming through the end of the Porsche curves. So there's going to be quite the gap for that Team Virage car to make up.
Top 3, Louis Risset, green and black, then Lena Bula with the red and white, then Canton Antonell, the pinky-coloured M Racing car. Behind them, Sasha Lehmann with the yellow of Team Virage on the nose, our poleman. Breton Racing making a slightly better start, up from 8th to 5th rather than down from 4th to 9th yesterday. That's Marius Fossard and Adrien Clomenil, the grey and black 37 of CLX Motorsport. Those will be the top 6 when they come to the line. They don't form up in 2x2 formation, and it's up to Louis Risset, the leader, to decide when he drops the hammer. When he goes, everybody goes. However, be aware when you're second that him dropping the hammer does not necessarily mean that he's not then going to slow down again to try and catch you out. There is no overtaking before the line. 42 and change minutes remaining. We are green again at Le Mans. So,
where they go, Louis Risset leads the pack. Lena Bula side by side, a little further back. That's Team Virage and Breton Racing.
Sasha Lehmann did not get a good start, being passed by Marius Fossard, who outbrakes himself. And Lehmann loses another spot. Through goes Adrien Clomenil. He had to take to the runoff area a little. Right behind is Griffin Peebles. So Sasha Lehmann just holding on. Look at the top of your picture. No, he didn't. He did get past in the yellow car. Meanwhile, here come our GT3 field. And, the Racing Spirit Le Mans car.
No, that's the Code Racing car.
That's the Code Racing car, yep. Philip Saga, car number 11. Similar colours, and again, everybody fanning out like the red arrows, trying to survive the first corner.
Patrie de France, surely, Martin. So Louis Risset, it is that leads the pack away, but there's plenty of cars behind. Look at this, 2 and 3 wide. Watching Griffin Peebles in the middle of that fighting pack of 5 LMP3 cars. He's looking for a way to defend and then to attack in the multicoloured needle nose car as the Gebhardt Motorsport car tries the inside line. That's not available. Peebles goes by the Virage car in the first chicane.
Trouble, real trouble for Sasha Lehmann. Adrien Clomenil went by him into the chicane. Griffin Peebles through the chicane, and Valentino Catalano and now Samir Ben, the other Team Virage car, have gone by. Sasha Lehmann dropping like a stone. He's now the second of the yellow nose cars, and he's down already outside the top 10. He's got a problem. Side
by side as the Cane Bass does, Griffin Peebles and Valentino Catalano in the top 2 running Ducanes. That's been sorted for the moment by Catalano, going to the inside and off track at the second chicane. Should not be allowed to keep that, I don't think.
Here's the second Forestier Racing car, Luciano Morano. The second of those green and black cars side by side again in front of Team Virage. The Gebhardt Racing car and WTM by Rinaldi. Valentino Catalano just keeping his nose in front of the red and black coloured car of Griffin Peebles. No, he didn't. WTM got in front.
Yeah, I think he had to give that back because Catalano took advantage of running off track and will have given the place back. Louis Rousset is a second ahead. Unsurprisingly, that incident at the start of the race is now under investigation. We'll keep an eye on that side by side between the BMW and the Ferrari.
I think the stewards had better have their espresso machine on full alert because they have a lot of work to do. The Ferrari on the outside, 33, not able to hang on. So that is the Kessel Racing car of Murat Chanaroglu and Samantha Tan for Team WRT went by.
Yeah, Sam Tan pushing on in Team WRT. They've had success here in this race before, amongst others. Valentino Rossi, showing a car to victory a couple of seasons ago with Jerome Bonnegot. Hearing from Steph down in pit lane, the number 73 car is a race retirement with too much damage to the rear of that car.
It felt like that was always likely to be the case. When they didn't have a spare rear end, I thought, OK, that's not going to last. Whoa!
That was the replacement entry, the Iron Dames pulling out.
For Breton Racing's Marius Fossard.
If you're wondering why the Iron Dames car is not in this race, it was withdrawn earlier this week with Vanina Ricks unwell and unable to take part. It was replaced by that 73 that's now out of this race.
Looking at the battle for third, the pink and yellow of Quentin Antonel and Marius Fossard with the black and blue and red, but right behind him, Adrien Clomenil. Clomenil coming strongly on now. The M Racing car easing away from Fossard for Breton Racing without any Breton colours on it, bizarrely, which are white and black, but Adrien Clomenil for CLX Racing, that's the black, blue and silver, number 37. That's now the battle for fourth place.
Trouble, by the way, for Edgar Pierre in the 86 RSGP car. That car tumbling down the order. I think he's been off the track and has returned
GT3,
to the racing service.
Sorry, Graham. GT3 leader is Laurent de Meus in the AF Corsa Ferrari, but here is Anthony Bartone in the big Mercedes, yesterday's race winner.
In fact, the race lead in GT3 has moved on. This was the huge moment for the RSGP car. He's lost about, what is that, 40 places to that incident. It's the Team Motor Park AMG now in the lead. Heiko Neumann.
Yeah.
It's been a good
race. He led
race.
right from the start, didn't he? Jumped into the lead at the start. And then Laurent de Meus and Anthony Bartone were battling for second. Sam Tan in fourth on the Team Virage. This is the better of the Team Virage cars. Samir Ben. What's happened to the other one? How far back? Sasha Lehman has dropped now down into 13th in the second of the yellow cars. And don't forget, he started on pole. I don't think that was a happy car. Everybody was going by him far too easily.
There is the car that has just had that wild ride, reported least surprise in the world with a puncture.
Shredded that tyre.
Side by side on the Mulsanne. Gebhardt Motorsport for Team Virage and Forestier Racing by VPS. This is the battle for seventh. Samir Ben, Valentino Catalano, Luciano Morano.
And it's a red car that gets its nose in front. So Valentino Catalano, Samir Ben for Team Virage, but around the outside, Luciano Morano. He's going to have to be brave here. He's just about got the overlap. And he uses it, gets his nose in front, down into Mulsanne corner as he goes to the racing line. Oh, a little thought by Samir Ben to try and slide up the inside. I think that would have resulted in both cars going off, so a wise decision by the man in the yellow car not to do so. But he has lost 2 spots in 2 braking episodes.
The fighting group here towards the back of the LMP3 Pro-Am group. And then we've got now AMG 1-2. Anthony Bartone has gone past Laurent de Meus. It is now Heiko Neumann from Anthony Bartone, yesterday's winner. He goes to the inside. He's going to take the lead, is he?
No.
Gets speed, looking to get by the Motor Park AMG. De Meus is there. Sam Tan is there. Here in the top 4. Someone's been through the gravel at Mulsanne corner.
Who hasn't?
A little bit like beach racing at that stage.
Sam Tam in that big white and red BMW, flashing the headlights, and the Ferrari in front. That's Laurent de Meus. She's looking to go up into 3rd place. De Meus weaving in front of her. She's jinking from mirror to mirror. She's got a good run going here.
In the meantime, we've got to get penalties going. You can keep an eye on the GT3s. Here goes to change the lead.
Into Indianapolis, easy for me to say, until Sam Tan weaving around behind the third place Ferrari. This is still anybody's race in GT3.
4 cars will be getting 10 seconds added to their mandatory pit stop time, and amongst them the 4th and 6th place cars. Breton Racing's 53, the 12 WTM by Rinaldi car. That is about, I'm sure, you mentioned it at the start, Martin, as Sam Tan gets stuck in here, looks to the outside as they come through and into the Porsche curves.
She's having a proper go at third place. So far, hasn't managed to get alongside the Ferrari, but I'm afraid that when she does, Laurent de Meers is going to be in real trouble trying to defend.
Also trying to catch this group, this pair, the Optimum Motorsport McLaren of Nick Halstead, Lorenzo Innocenti's Kessel Racing number 17 Ferrari. This could be a much bigger battling group for the front of GT3 in just a very short while. Meantime, Adrian David in the 85 RSGP car into the top 10, fastest lap of the race, a 3:53 for that Duquesne.
Yeah, we're not seeing it yet, but it's a dark and white car with pink highlights. It'll be at the tail of this field. Here is our battle for second. Leon Bühler ahead of Quentin Antonel. And then this battle, Marius Fossard with Adrien Clomenil pulling out of the slipstream. Clomenil with the blue and black. He's going to make this place. Yes, he does. He takes the racing line, sweeping into the first chicane. Great effort. Just got to run through the S's and out of Tertre Rouge. So Adrien Clomenil moves up to 4th place.
I'll tell you, by the way, there's been a further drama for the 86 car. That's down at Indianapolis. There are double yellows showing there, as that car is either putting off or trying to regain the track surface as the lead group powering down now to the second Mulsanne chicane. This is lap 5 for the lead group.
Now, if you're trackside watching this and it all suddenly goes quiet very much too early, that's because there are only 23 cars on track now. The remaining 26 or so are in the pits. Pit lane is open. Lurid spin.
It's the same corner, a corner on the car that's caused the problem.
Yeah, left rear corner. Is that a puncture?
It's a puncture.
It is a puncture.
Puncture for the car. There's, yeah, I tend to wonder, has something else awry in that corner of the car? There's a second lurid spin for this car, and that's going to be day over, I'm sure, for the 86. He's already had a spin in the exit of the Porsche curves. He's done it again now at Indianapolis.
That is at Indianapolis. I mean, that is absolutely heart in the mouth.
That's 2 places you really don't want incidents like that. That's the 94 with significant rear damage as well. And into the pits we go with the pit window open. 2 minutes, they must remain on pit lane.
Yep.
And that was a significant factor yesterday for a number of teams, Martin.
Yeah.
Including the one-time GT3 leader and one of the lead group in LMP3. Out they come, and we'll soon see whether or not they've actually managed to hit the stopwatch at the right moment. I'm just keeping a look down. I can tell you already, the Gatsby car on our timing has not. The lead car in GT3 is shown on official timing as being a second under the mandatory 2 minutes.
Yep.
And that will likely be a penalty coming their way. So that is real drama for Gatsby, the number 14 Mercedes AMG.
And the penalty will be in the form of a try or stop
go
plus
the time.
So that'll be 45 seconds through the pit lane plus a second. Coming back in is the RSGP car on 3 tyres.
Adrian David is still pushing and pushing hard up into 9th place now. Under 10 seconds from the lead. Yes, they're coming into the pit window. Don't count out that 85 car. It's been rapid this year.
And look at 86, the M Racing car of Quentin Antonel, all over the back of Leon Bühler as they come into the pit lane. So Louis Rousset leads in the remaining 23 cars. They will all pit this time round. Forestier Racing were almost on their own in the previous race 29, penalty, that's the leader. It had to come.
Yeah, it
had to come.
Well, he's on pit lane now for his mandatory stop, but second driver will have to pit again. Will have to drive through very soon after taking over this car. That is going to drop the car back. At the moment, by the way, having not taken their mandatory pit stops, it's a Nielsen Racing and a Des 1-2.
Yeah, so unfortunately, although that penalty for 29 was earned by the starting driver, it won't be him that has to face the music. His co-driver will have to come straight back into the pit lane. He'll just be getting into the car, drive out of the pit lane, and they'll immediately say, sorry, you've got a drive-through penalty. Well, so let's reset, get speed. Car number 14, the Mercedes, with the lead. That's Steve Jans.
But has a penalty coming.
And 65, still shown as Heiko Neumann in the car, but shouldn't be, because this is not one of those races where you have the option of not bothering to change.
No.
So it is Lucas Dunner.
Yeah.
The Austrian driver.
Well, they'll have to make that change on the driver recognition system, or there's a potential penalty for that too.
And also lots of confusion for us, so they should be penalised. 21 and 23, that was the unfortunate coming together. Will be investigated after the race, and actually, yeah, they're going to have to look at how it happened.
Keep an eye on this 50 car. That's going to be of a part to play here. Then Nebula did a cracking job with her first part of this race. Car leaves pit lane now, and Matteo Quintarelli, very rapid young man indeed, takes the wheel of the 50 Ligier. Behind him, right behind him, Vlad Lomko is out there for Racing, regular starter in the European Le Mans Series.
The CLX car still says Adrian Clomanel, but it's not, it's Theodor Jensen. So this was second, third and fourth, don't forget. And with the penalty for the car that came in with the lead, this then becomes the de facto battle for the podium.
So the top four cars at the moment in the order have not pitted. It's the top two cars in LMP3, the top two cars in LMP3 Pro-Am. We'll keep an eye on them, but to a degree, we're looking further back at the race leading group, or the group we're looking at right now.
Change for what is currently fourth place, CLX Motorsport 37. That's the blue and black car. M Racing with the pink and yellow. That is the car. Ooh.
Trouble, that's the number 6 car.
Yep. Facing the wrong way is Axel Gnos. Out of the pit lane was their contact.
Yes, there was, from the 87 CLX car.
I think he was going round before the ANS Motorsport car.
I think he got plenty of help.
I think he was rotating before the CLX car got there, but that's not my call. That's down to the stewards to decide. Meanwhile, this is our de facto first, second and third. 23 events, car number 50, Matteo Quintarelli, then Adrian Clomanel, and then Vladislav Lomko for M Racing. So that could be our podium, but Nielsen, their two cars, number 4 and number 7, staying out. If they can have some really quick, clean laps, there is just the possibility that they might emerge with this group of cars.
Well, they are just about to pit lane now. Keeping an eye, by the way, further down the order, the only car I can see that may well be attracting the attention of race control for mandatory pit stop time. Here come the formation Nielsen Ades cars.
So Nielsen Racing, very experienced. They've had a number of wins here in Road to Le Mans over what is 9 previous outings. Oh, no!
Did he hit him?
Yes.
So this is a development program. You see there the gull-wing door affair on the Ades. It's a development program for this new Ades. Car 29 under investigation. Safety car procedure.
Well, when it's not your day, it's not your day. Romain Favre has only just taken over the number 29 Forestier racing car. He already has a drive-through that he'll have to serve, and now they're being investigated for safety car procedures, so that's not going to help either.
Right, so we keep an eye now. This is the lead group of the cars that have pitted, but all 4 cars that didn't until this lap on pit lane now.
So those are the 2 leaders in LMP3 and the 2 leaders in LMP3 Pro-Am as was, but here we are now looking at the cars that should be taking the lead. 23 Events Racing, CLX Motorsport, and then M Racing, the pink car. But that M Racing car, Vladislav Lonko, dropping back towards Ugo Schwarzer with the pink highlights and the white nose of RHGP, and then Romain Favre in the green and black car. But again, here's our GT3 lead battle. Again, Phil, need to clarify that the description of Hugo Schwarzer was the Duquesne, and not personally Hugo Schwarzer, who does not have a white nose and pink highlights. Well, you're saying that. Here's our lead battle in GT3. Get Speed versus Team Motorpark. Optimum in the pit lane, car number 5. Is that a late stop? It's a very late stop.
Trouble for the 33 car. That car has stopped.
And that's only just come back out of the pit lane, hasn't it? That's David Fumanelli in that car.
Indianapolis, we've got the number 11 car appears to have stopped as well.
So that's Kessel Racing, 33 out of the race. But it's Mercedes 1-2 at the moment.
Yeah, the Code Racing Aston Martin in there. It's actually in the barriers at Indianapolis.
He's had a spin across the gravel.
This is Rory van der Steur. And
David Fumanelli bails out. That's going no further.
Is that both? That's
Fumanelli. Oh, so Fumanelli was eased out wide. That's is that the chicane or Mulsanne corner? Oh,
and that's the Code Racing car. Almost. The safety car has been called. I'm not surprised. Almost the same accident that we saw in the Le Mans 24 Hours for the not dissimilar LMGT3 of Heart of Racing. Mercifully for Rory, he ends up with all 4 wheels on the ground.
Let's get down into the pit lane, catch up with Steph, and see what she knows.
Joined by Lena Buller, driver of the number 50, 23 Events Racing. Congratulations, a brilliant first stint from you. The conditions very different to earlier on in the week.
Yeah, it's quite different from last race on Thursday. The track is more lower in temperature, so it slides a bit more. But I had a good start, and I give the second position to my teammates. Now we are P1, so I hope we will stay on this position.
Matteo, your teammate, as you know, has incredible pace we've seen throughout the season, and you've been working really well together. Do you reckon he can hold on to this position and you can claim the podium here in Le Mans?
Yeah, I hope we will get the podium and the first place. I'm confident with him. He's a very good driver. He did any mistakes, so...
Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, could that be history here, Martin?
Yeah.
She did the heavy lifting there. She got the car to the position where they could take the lead coming out of that pit stop. And it is Matteo Quintarelli in the number 50 car from 23 Events Racing that leads this race under the safety car. I'm pretty certain we have not had a female overall winner at the Road to Le Mans in the history of ever.
No, you're absolutely right. We absolutely have not. Forestier Racing have served their drive-through. However, that number 29 car may need to go into the pit lane again if there is a safety car infringement. Safety car is out, and there is car number 33.
It's on the exit
side of the track.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw him. Didn't see actually which prototype got involved. I was going to say biffed him, but was involved there. Might possibly have been the number 10 from Racing Spirit to Le Mans, but there are a couple of LMGT3 cars that are in there.
We're needing a bit of intervention here.
I'm not surprised, actually. Indianapolis is not a slow corner, and even though he hit the barrier on the passenger side, because it's a left-hand drive car, that will have rung his bell. It will certainly have knocked the wind out of his sails. So I don't think there's a major issue, but they're just making sure that the driver feels okay.
As they absolutely should. Rory van der Steur, young American driver, winner last time out in the Michelin Le Mans Cup before the Road to Le Mans races, and will do what needs to be done to make sure that he's okay. The field are under the control of the Porsche safety car. We have 21 minutes left on the clock 23 events racing lead. Matteo Quintarelli with Lena Buehler, who we've just heard Steph Wentworth talking to on pit lane. Ahead of yesterday's race winners, the 37 CLX Motorsport car, the very talented Theo Jensen. Intervention is with the Code Racing car. RHGP's 85, Hugo Sforza, and then M Racing's 68 with Vlad Lomko. Oscar Tuño in the Gepard Racing number 70 Duquesne. This is the incident that we're describing. That's the heavy stop that will have taken the wind out of the sails, I'm sure, of Rory van der Steur.
And a pretty, you know, a rough ride as well at speed across the gravel. What will he be doing there?
He's out
you
the
know,
car.
North of 140 miles an hour.
He's out the car, he's on his feet, and you can see there he's looking pretty winded, I'm sure. But
he will be getting out of bed cautiously tomorrow morning.
It's not going to be a comfortable flight back to the United States because there's going to be some pretty heavy bruising there. We can already see, by the way, the 33 car in the background under tow, so not much longer before it's instant clear at and there's fluid leak from the 86.
Yeah, that was the car that had that lurid, or two lurid spins. If there's that amount of brake fluid, I'm amazed he got back to the pit lane.
There you go. It is under 20 minutes to go. Everybody under control of this safety car. I think we are going to get back to green flag racing here, so stick with us. I'm looking at the looking at the top 5 and 6 cars here, and this is an intriguing position. 5, 6 capable racers and capable LMP3 cars at the front of the race for the biggest race of the season. It may be one of the shorter ones, but this is race morning at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. There are upwards of 250,000 people trackside to watch and cheer, as this is going to be some moment for anybody on this podium at the end of this race. In LMP3 Pro-Am, at the lead of that race, 12th overall now, Thomas Laurent, the winner of the very first Road to Le Mans race here 10 years ago. It's the 10th anniversary of Le Mans Cup, and he's sitting in 12th in the Ginetta from DKR Engineering. First ever podium for a Ginetta came yesterday. Could it be a first ever win for Ginetta?
Well, second in Pro-Am is Rinaldi Racing's car number 71, Philippe Lazaire. Stefan Aust started that car from 6th in class, but they were yesterday's race winners.
And again, that's another intriguing battle, including the 88 RSGP Duquesne that sits in third with Fabien Laverne, another rapid driver, and then the Motorsport 98 Ligier, the 98 car in the hands of double champion in the Ligier European Series, champion in the Michelin Le Mans Cup last season, 2 seasons ago, sorry, Guillaume Henrion. So again, a 5-car battling group, but what might be quite a short run to the flag here, and then we get to GT3. So 2 things to look forward to, 2 mighty battles in the 2 LMP3 classes in what might be the last 15 minutes or so of this race. Get speed, lead the race, but have a penalty coming. The 14 car, Team Motor Park's Lucas Dunner, because that change in the driver identification has now been achieved. They will lead this race. Optimum Motorsport's Bradley Ellis, we saw how quick Brad was in the Optimum Motorsport McLaren yesterday. They've got to be in good shape for this. On a morning when McLaren unveiled their brand new hypercar right here, could they take a race win at Le Mans? AF Corsa's Vincent Abril, factory quality driver Vincent in the 52 AF Corsa Ferrari, and then Gustav Bergström in the Team WRT BMW, Andrea Bellicchi in the Kessel Racing number 17. Again, another great finish in prospecting GT3. This could be one of those races has the crowd on its feet at the end of the race. It
might just basically be a 2 or 3 lap race at the end. So 23 events leading overall. We were just looking at DKR Engineering leading in LMP2, Thomas Laurent, as the 33 Ferrari gets eased away, and that was assisted off into the barriers. And the Code Racing Aston Martin likewise just about to be cleared. I would sense that unless there are barrier repairs to be done at Indianapolis, this is what happened to the Ferrari, eased out wide in its own battle, and then
It was eased out by a sister for another Ferrari.
Yeah,
it was the Ferrari, not the LMP3 car.
No, that wasn't the problem. The problem was as he tried to avoid the tyre stack, there was contact with the LMP3 car.
Griffin Peebles there, explaining, I guess, another incident.
Mm-hmm.
So double yellows removed now at Indianapolis and at...
Right, so that means no need for barrier repairs at Indianapolis, which is very good news.
Car 33 and car 24 is the car being called, and that is the TS Corsa Duquesne of Robin Rogalski is the car that's being called as being involved there. I have to say, I saw that as side-by-side contact with the other Ferrari that caused the incident.
But then he came back on, that eased him off, but then he came back onto the track to avoid the tyre stack, and that's when there was contact with the LMP3 car, which actually then twanged him off into the barrier.
Come what may, the entire incident will be viewed, I'm sure, in its totality.
Indeed.
In microscopic detail by the stewards later. 15 minutes to go on the clock. We wait to see whether or not we're going to be told that the safety car will be in on this occasion. I think it will.
As long as the Ferrari is clear, or will be clear, at Mulsanne corner before anybody else arrives, then I think we should go.
Right, so if you're standing trackside, if there's small children around, make sure their eyes are away from the track for the next 10 minutes, because this is going to be tasty.
Step well back. Well, no, let them watch. Because this is what you come for in motor racing, close battles. So there's the Code Racing Aston Martin, there's the 33 Ferrari. I think we will go green this time round.
I think you're right. It's great stuff by the marshals. It's a long, warm day for the Orange Army here at the Circuit de la Sarthe, and they've started it with plenty of exercise with the Mustangs earlier. And now the road to Le Mans. Hopefully they'll get a bit of an opportunity for a cooling drink and a baguette before we get into the 24 Hours of Le Mans later today. But we're going to have something more, I think, than 10 minutes of action remaining for the road to Le Mans to take us to the checkered flag.
Just a little moment there when Steve Jans in that Get Speed Mercedes almost half spun it as he was weaving. Black car just a little perhaps more slidey than he expected. So the two Mercedes, black car is Get Speed, and the black and red is Team Motorpark Lucas Dunner. Then there's an LMP3 car in the way, the Racing Spirit of Le Mans car between the top two and Optimum Motorsports Bradley Ellis. There is the BMW, Gustav Bergström now at the wheel, having taken over from the very feisty Sam Tan, but they're still behind the AF Corsa Ferrari. That's a red and black car with the white stripes. That's now being driven by Vincent Abril. So those two, fourth and fifth. It was the battle for... Actually, it was the battle for fourth, wasn't it? For third, before the pit stops. But Bradley Ellis and the Optimum Motorsport McLaren have sneaked through, not by dint of being too fast in the pits. The Get Speed Mercedes, though, their pit time shown as 1 minute 59. It must be 2 minutes plus, or 2 minutes dead, and there are a lot of 2-minute 00s because, of course, you don't want to give away even a second in the pit stops.
Should be said, that's on our timing. We've not seen that called. We do expect the penalty to come. It's not yet been called. It's an exciting day here at Circuit de la Sarthe. You've seen trackside, everybody gathering for all the on-track efforts here in the booth. The Circuit de la Sarthe, our Le Mans 24 Hours crew are gathering around and behind us. Everybody's here good and early and getting excited about what's to come. Pretty much the entire crew here in the booth at the moment, with the legend that is Alan Kalf in the corner there.
I don't know if any of them bothered bringing tea bags, as previously advertised on this channel. 23 Events Racing, CLK Motorsport, RHGP, M Racing, Gephardt, Forestier, they're all in it effectively. And as we get ready to go potentially back to green, although it's not saying lights out on the safety car yet.
Will do so if it's going to do so any moment now. It's intended to do that at around the Porsche curves. Gives them the opportunity just to keep things nice and calm. Cars are under the control of the single Porsche safety car.
Not seeing on our timing screen safety car in this lap.
Not yet.
can't see from that shot whether the lights are on the safety car.
The lights are still on.
I think they are, so maybe there is
Safety
more to
car
be done.
in this
okay,
lap.
here we go.
We're going to go back racing. It'll be 10 minutes to win it all here.
I'm going to take one step back, maybe two, just for safety.
They can't hurt you here, Martin. You're very safe.
No,
famous last words.
That's entirely true. Luckily, we've got some VIP hospitality between us and the track, so there is somebody there to take the strain. So safety car comes in. Delighted to welcome to the booth Dutch legend Allard Kalf. Allard, shouldn't you be doing some work?
I am working, Martin. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
This is work. This is preparation for the big race later, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And you'll be meandering up and down the pit lane.
I'll be following Bruce wherever he'll go in the pit lane. Bruce and me will tackle anything, any news. But we're live 24 hours in Holland. On the live stream. No, RTL 7.
Oh, okay.
And so it's good. I mean, I think it's good because we're a small country, big motor racing country. 8 Dutch people here. Oh, we have a spinner.
Theodor Jensen in the wall, exits the final chicane, wheels in the gravel. He was just trying to really chase up behind the leader, and it's Matteo Kentorelli who leads. Hugo Schwarzer now second for RHGP, Vladislav Lomko third for M Racing.
Big plus for the race leader as well, because Matteo Kentorelli got the power down, but everybody behind Theo Jensen naturally just checked him as that was happening in front of them, and he's got a gap now.
Yeah, so great opportunity inside 10 minutes. Change of place down the inside comes the Reiter engineering car of Miklas Born, and he goes by Theo Mikoris in the Team Virage first, the Team Virage cars, and Mikael Petamba in the second of those yellow nose cars.
Change in GT3 as well, as to the lead goes the Team Motor Park AMG ahead of Steve Jans in the Get Speed car. With or without the penalty, that change has already been made. DK Engineering's Ginetta leads, has moved up to 11th place, leads in LMP3 Pro, and side by side, both the barrier between one of the Reiter engineering cars and the Team Virage car. Positions stay the same. Gebhardt Motorsport up the inside of the Moore Motorsport, the M Racing car for third.
That is a change for third, the red and
Safety
black car. Oh, and that might be the end of the race. That might be the end of the race. Matteo Kentorelli, Hugo Schwarzer, that's your 1-2. And that pass by Gebhardt's Oscar Tunio ahead of M Racing's Vladislav Lonko might have decided the podium. DKR's Thomas Laurent was leading.
That's the 28
in Pro-Am. And is that... Where's that?
That is the other 23 events racing car of
Turn
Tim
3, so that's down in the S's.
So it's the sister car to the overall leader. That's what happened with Theo Jensen. Just lost the rear end. Just that carried him into the gravel. Then there's no grip, and then went around from there. And behind him, that just momentarily checking up the 2 or 3 cars behind. That gave Matteo Kentorelli the gap that he needed, but didn't need it for long, did he? The safety car back out again. Yeah, rueful looks in the garages here.
And this is in the, okay, so it was at the Dunlop chicane.
That was the second time this
28 and 27. I'm sure the car that's facing the wrong way there is 28.
Yeah, Tim Merrier into the back of Louis Hamilton-Smith.
Now, I wonder if that's what caused the change in LMGT3 as they got into there.
No, they were further back. They were further back.
That's got a broken drive shaft, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It ain't going anywhere. It moved forward a little bit.
It's taken the shock, hasn't it, Allard, into the wall. It's taken the shock through the drive shaft, and whether or not it's drive shaft or gearbox, we've seen it on occasion.
No drive.
No, either way, it's going nowhere.
One-wheel drive. Look at the crowds here. So many people watching this race. Wherever you are around the world watching it, if you want to come to Le Mans, like I said earlier, you've got to be really quick. The tickets sold out in under 24 hours for this year.
Question, Martin. Can the safety car come in this lap?
Yes.
So
if it's clean, yeah.
Because the cars are gone, so it should be fine coming into this race, in this lap.
Back in the pit lane here and joined by Romano Ricci, a driver of the number 88 R-Race GP in LMP3 Pro Am. There is a potential for a podium for you guys right now, running very well indeed, but under safety car conditions very close to the end of the race. How incredible is it to drive around here at Le Mans?
It's always a great honor for me to, and for everybody, I think, to drive on this unique circuit. I've been here since I was like maybe 14 years old. My father was driving, and yeah, I've been completely passionate and inhabited by the magic of this place.
It's incredibly magical and would be made even better if you could stand on the podium. What is the likelihood that you can maintain that? Obviously, we're in a safety car period right now, potentially towards the end of the race.
Me, I'm a racer. I would love the neutralization not to happen, because I prefer the battle, of course, than a yellow. But if we have to take a third position, I'll take it gladly, for sure.
All right, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, ex-WC racer Romano Ricci, parfumier by profession. That's the Juliette Has a Gun brand that's across his chest. There goes the 28 behind the wall. It's the 37 I'm concerned about that is not yet cleared.
That's the lead battle. It's the lead battle in GT3. That's the Gatsby car of Steve Jans, flying literally by Lucas Dunner in the motorsport car, flying across his nose.
Yeah, airborne lead change there, but he has given that place back, by the way, as well he should.
Well, in fairness, he didn't go off track. He didn't go on track either.
No.
He wasn't using any track or runoff area.
That's the second view of the 28 on the 27. Not dissimilar incident we saw at the start of the race between the two Ferraris, was it?
So Lewis Hamilton-Smith being turned around, it seems, by Tim Merrier in the 23 events racing car.
That happens easy at that corner, doesn't it? Because you're on the inside and they don't really see you when you turn in and someone's there.
You can't see anything. Oh, they have mirrors. Yeah, no. They're just for decoration. They really serve no useful purpose at all, unless somebody is directly in line behind you.
The concern I've got at the moment, gentlemen, is just what's going on start-finish line with a 37. That car is still shown as being stationary on track. There is debris. There's going to be a call made pretty quickly, because we've got the safety car coming into the Porsche curves, and we are not seeing double yellows removed at Marshall post 35. It would be a late call to bring the car in, but it can still happen. Safety car in this lap.
Yep.
We're going back racing.
Yeah, just the moment you said that, 35 disappeared from the GPS tracker. We will have one lap shootout to sort this race out. So 23 events racing. Matteo Quintarelli from Ugo Schwarzer right behind in R-Race GP, then Oscar Tuño, the red and black for Gephardt, Vladislav Lomko, pink and yellow for M Racing, green and black Forest by VPS, and Reiter Engineering, the 25 in the top 6, Reiter, that bright blue, dark blue Felbermeyer livery. Then the two Virage cars with between them CLX's Pierre-Alexandre Provost, and just outside the 10, Thomas Laurent, the sort of white car with blue and orange on it. That's DKR's number 2 machine from Rinaldi Racing, yesterday's winners, and R-Race GP third in Pro Am. We go green. We've got 2 minutes 42 on the clock, and that will be the last racing lap as they come across the line. Hopefully, it will say last lap. Here we go.
Last lap it does. Away goes Matteo Quintarelli. He played that beautifully, got the power in at the optimum moment, and was followed into the Ford chicane by Hugo Schwarzer, but he's made good the escape. Is a second up as they cross the line. The Gephardt Motorsport car cuts the apex there.
Yeah, Oscar Tuño under real pressure from M Racing's Vladislav Lomko with the pink and yellow highlights. Lomko with a better run down the hill behind him, trying to look through. He won't go down there into the S's, so he's still off the podium, and that happened just before the safety car. Yellow flags behind them, so that won't matter, as they're on to the Mulsanne straight for the final time. No change behind in LMP3 Pro Am. no change either. Oh, hang on a minute. I was going to say in GT3 there is a change. Motor Park goes around the outside, it gets speed, and the McLaren is there as well with the yellow nose. Bradley Ellis, that's your 1, 2, 3 in GT3 out to Tete Rouge.
But this could well be, depending on what we hear about that time penalty, could well be the 1-2 with a car that's not in the battle between. Brad Ellis has got to get by that black AMG. His target, the red EMG. He's not interested in what feels like it might be second. He's interested in the win, and he's got, what, 2/3 of a lap to do it.
M Racing under pressure from Forestier by VPS. Charles Roussan down the inside in the green and black, overtaking Vladislav Lomko on the straight, and right behind is the blue and black Reiter car as well, or blue and dark blue. Oh, a little bit of a touch there almost, and there's been a change for second. So Bradley Ellis with a wide orange nose on the McLaren up to second. He's got to ignore the black Mercedes behind and chase down the lead car. Team Motor Park red and black, Lucas Dunner. This is where I don't envy our race director. He's got to follow 3 classes, each of which has got a lead battle in this monstrous field of still nearly 50 cars.
Quintarelli from Schwarzer, Fontenio from Longo, 1, 2, 3, 4 in LMP3 Pro-Am. Thomas Laurent with Felipe Larza right under his rear wing. Fabien Laverne trying to get to those 2 in the podium positions and for the win. Will it be Ginetta with a first win at Le Mans in any class?
Something's happened at Mulsanne corner. Somebody's been wide out into the gravel. Here's our lead group, and here is the lead battle. RHGP's Ugo Schwarzer right with Matteo Quintarelli. So Quintarelli, the first of these 2 cars, the race leader, heading down towards Indianapolis. Going to have to be brave, Schwarzer, to try and go around the outside there. But I imagine there might be a last lap lunge into the Ford chicane.
It could all be done in the Ford chicane, couldn't it? It's Ligier, it's Duquesne. It's 23 events, it's RHGP, it's Matteo Quintarelli and Hugo Schwarzer for the win.
Quintarelli, the leader, defending too late now into Arnage. Schwarzer again with a little run on him. Here we go, this is it for the lead. Schwarzer's on the inside. Quintarelli went offline, defended into Arnage where he didn't need to. And so Hugo Schwarzer has the run down in towards the Porsche curves. But Quintarelli on the inside as they turn into Virage Porsche. Side by side is not going to work here in this high-speed element. The team will be watching with excited view. Matteo Quintarelli holding off Hugo Schwarzer. Was that the final chance for the lead battle? It looks like it's been decided. Checkered flag is already waiting.
Fabulous stuff from this pair. Final lap dramas here.
Heart in the mouth moment for the team, but into the chicane for the final time. If he doesn't throw it off, Matteo Quintarelli will win the Road to Le Mans on Saturday morning. Hugo Schwarzer takes second. Third place, Gephardt Motorsport, Oscar Tuño from Forestier Racing by VPS, and then just going under the bridge are GT3 Pro-Am win, Thomas Laurent for DKR Engineering and Ginetta in 9th place. Let's go back to our GT3 battle, because it is still Team Motor Park's Lucas Dunner ahead of Bradley Ellis in the McLaren. And what was the gap? It's about 0.7 of a second. And looking at the top of the picture, they've come through. Oh, Bradley Ellis is in second. There's the red and black Mercedes, our race winner. The McLaren in second, and look further back behind the black Mercedes, which has a penalty. Our third place car is the AF Corsa Ferrari of Vincent Abril, car number 52, because the 14 car has, we believe, a penalty. However, one thing is clear, Matteo Quintarelli survived huge pressure to hang on that final lap.
The Michelin Le Mans Cup support event for the European Le Mans Series everywhere bar here. So far, in each of the European Le Mans Series races this season, we've had winners in classes from female racers, and for the first time in its decade-long history, we've got the same here at the Road to Le Mans. Lena Bühler played a full part in that. There are the LMP3 Pro-Am winners, DKR Engineers, Antti Ramo and Thomas Laurent. He bookends successes here at Road to Le Mans, and a first ever win in any class at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And it's Road to Le Mans from Ginetta.
We won! Yeah, nobody really cares. What a podium to stand on. What a podium. So Team Motorpark, Lucas Dunner, holding on after Heiko Neumann started so strongly in that car. And have Motorpark ever won on the big circuit at Le Mans? No. They may well have won, actually, on the Bugatti circuit in World Series by Renault days, in 2-litre Formula Renault, but certainly I don't think they've ever had a car on the top step here. So
yeah. So 23 Events Racing take it. Lena Bühler and Matteo Cantarelli. Ligier take it. With this race there. That is a very emotional...
Heiko Neumann.
Yeah.
Grande emotion here. A massive, massive moment. And of course, there are points going into the championship as well, but I think that's all for another day. Today and on Thursday, it is all about trying to get a win at Le Mans. And whatever class you're in, those words, Alain Kalf, Le Mans winner, they're something special.
Yes, they are. And when this started, was it Thursday with qualifying? It was the red to Le Mans more than the road to Le Mans.
Yeah.
But the race never, ever disappoints, does it?
Yeah. No, this has been today. Actually, Thursday and today have been two of the cleanest road to Le Mans races in living memory in the last few years. DKR 9th overall in LMP3 Pro Am, ahead of Rinaldi Racing and R-Ace GP, taking 3rd, so they'll be on the podium as well, car number 88. And then in our GT3 class, not much in it between the Motorpark Mercedes and Optimum's McLaren. 3rd place at the line, the Get Speed Mercedes, but do they have a penalty coming? Well, we will wait and see.
The 1, 2, 3, 23 Events Racing, R-Ace GP and Gebhardt Motorsport cracking into the race, by the way, from Gebhardt Motorsports, Oscar Tunyo, grabbing a podium there. So Ligier from 2 Ducanes there. In LMP3 Pro-Am, DKR Engineering from Rinaldi Racing and R-Ace GP. That's another mixed podium, Ginetta, Ligier and a Ducane. This mixed grid of 4 different chassis really coming into their own. Just taking a quick look back and seeing where the first of the Ades came home. It was Colin Noble, just outside the top 20 overall for Colin. But, you know, yes, an interrupted race. But that's Team Motorpark.
But a brilliant race.
Yeah. Now, has there been a Road to Le Mans podium without a Ferrari on it in
there might
9
still be.
previous outings?
There might still be.
Saturday morning, Road to Le Mans Race 2, the 10th anniversary of this start to the Michelin Le Mans Cup adventure at Le Mans as the support race for the 24 hours. Team Virage Motorsports 1-2 didn't even last until the Dunlop chicane, with their number 8 car being nerfed out of the way by Forestier, by VPS. The 29 car then going on to take the lead as everybody fanned out behind, desperately trying to avoid the spun car. Two of those who didn't quite make that avoidance, the biogas Ferrari clattering into car number 21, and both of them out on the spot. So brief safety car intervention and restarting, and then a slow getaway by Sasha Lehmann in that yellow car that had started from pole, dropping down the order behind its sister car and losing half a dozen places on the restart lap. Something clearly not quite right with the car, maybe tyre temperatures or pressures during the restart. Battling all the way through this monstrous field of 58 cars who took the start. And the head of our GT3 field, Sam Tan in the BMW, working really hard throughout against the 33 Kessel Racing Ferrari for 4th place. And then looking for 3rd behind a pair of Mercedes, Get Speed and Optimum Motorsport, Team Motorpark rather, battling for the lead up to the pit window opening. Late arrival in the pit lane from 2 cars running into each other, and then the second safety car, because of this incident, number 33 initially eased out wide by a fellow GT3 car, and almost at the same time the number 11 Mercedes from Code Racing. High speed impact with the barriers. Going green again. Disaster for the car that was in second. Just getting on the power too early. Theodor Jensen putting the CLX Motorsport car into the barriers. That brought out the safety car again. And we went green once more after these incidents were cleared up for a final lap. And holding off the challenge of Ugo Schwarzer, Matteo Quintarelli winning the race Saturday morning at Le Mans. So 23 events racing, our Ace GP and Gephardt Motorsport claiming victory, and the first female winner of a Road to Le Mans event. A great start from Lena to take the car into the lead, bring it into the lead in the pits, and her teammate carrying on to claim that victory. DKR there, multiple champions in LMP3, claiming victory here with their number 2 car, and the first at Le Mans for a Ginetta chassis, with Team Motorpark and the Mercedes winning in GT3.
Well, thanks very much indeed to Martin Haver and to Allard Kalf. Join Johnny Palmer and myself for the remainder of the Michelin Le Mans Cup season, starting the second half of the season at Silverstone.